Talk about, well, first of all, welcome to Chad Morris. I want to welcome him to the Razorback family, the new head football coach. Got a chance to be at his press conference. Seemed like a coach that has a lot of energy, man. And I tell you what, that gets contagious with your team. So we're excited for him and Hunter Yurachek. Those guys you have a chance to lead our athletic department, and we're excited about that. On the basketball, Minnesota, a team that we played last year, and boy, I tell you what, they really took us to the woodshed last year, and they got most of those guys back with Nate Mason leading the charge, along with the guy that's averaging a double-double, Murphy, Jordan Murphy, outstanding player. Undersized forward, great pair of hands, great body, and then you got the shot blocking presence of Lynch. So it's a team that they're averaging over 17 assists a game, averaging almost 87 points a game. So it's a very, very good basketball team. Richard Pitino has done an outstanding job. Evident last year, they got to the tournament. They were one of the hotter teams last year, and they're ranked. So it's a return game from a two-game series. So we're going to really have to play some really, really good basketball. The Coffee kid, last year he played outstanding for them. I think we played him last year. We had 21 turnovers. So that's something I know we got to be better at in terms of taking care of the basketball. And we got to match their energy on the boards. That's what they do well. They have one guy, I think he's already got 56 offensive rebounds, Murphy. I mean, as a team, we have 73. So that tells you they shoot it and they go get it. But it should be a fun game. It's two teams that like to score. Obviously, we want to play at a higher tempo than they do, but they like to score. And so for our fans, but Walter Green, it should be alive, and it's a 5:45 game. So we're looking forward to having an opportunity to play against an outstanding Minnesota team. They lost a game at Nebraska, which is in conference play, and we all know how difficult it is to win on the road. That's one of the things that is really difficult, to go in someone else's environment, and especially in a conference game. Their conference season has already started, so we'll get a team that'll be charged up to play, and we've got to be ready and charged up as well.
All right, raise your hand, guys. We'll go to Mike.
Mike, Jalen and Daryl just there talking about that was your first road game last year, and those guys were newcomers, and you had a lot of newcomers. Everybody's still kind of getting used to each other. What do you remember about that game, and how much better, are Jalen and Daryl, now a full year ahead of that?
Well, they've got a year of seasoning, understanding of the ins and outs of going in, on the road and how you got to play. In that game early on, the first 10 minutes, I think it was going back and forth, and then it just seemed like we hit a wall, couldn't score, and they really start spreading the floor and getting second shots, getting dunks at the basket. Their crowd got into it, and I thought we got a little rattled. I thought we got rattled, and before you know it, we had some subs to come in there, and they just had an explosion in scoring, and it was turnovers that led to easy buckets for them. And at that time, once we got down, I thought we started trying to play what I call hero ball. This guy tried to do it, that guy tried to do it, and before you know it, that deficit that you had was 12, now it's almost 20, and they didn't let up. So that's a credit to them. They took the momentum and ran with it. So, but I feel our guys have learned, through the course of the year, as you go on the road, the things that you got to do. You got to defend. You got to take care of the basketball. You got to get to the free throw line more so than they do. And so I think with a year of seasoning and playing at this level, the strength, the size, the quickness, the physicalness that takes place at this level. I think those are some of the things they learned, and hopefully we'll see that in play on Saturday, because it's going to be they're a really physical basketball team, especially when you talk about Lynch and Murphy. Those guys really, and Coffee, those guys really go to the glass.
Hey, Curry, Eric Curry, the kid, I guess he's from Memphis, but played high school ball in Little Rock, towards ACL. Just what do you remember about him? I guess how tough a deal is that he's out for the year?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that he was out for the year this year, but he played well for him. I think someone we recruited, and of course, playing against a team that's from a region where you're from, you're going to hopefully play some of your better basketball. But he played well for him.
And I think Michigan and Syracuse, they may be the only non-conference ranked teams that have come in here since you've been back. How big a deal is it to get like a Big Ten team in December to come into your place? I mean, how big a deal is that, and what kind of atmosphere do you expect?
I just, to me, it goes on the same lines of playing in the PK80. Those are some of the things I'm used to. As a coach, I'm used to it. So to have an opportunity to bring teams in here that are ranked, that are a really good team, that's what you want to do. You want to play. In order for you to find out where you are, you got to play, really, really good teams. And Minnesota's a team that, obviously, what they did last year, it resonated with people, so they were ranked this year, and they've had some tough losses, lost to a very, very good Miami team, and then, of course, as I said, the other game against Nebraska. But they went on the road and won at Providence, which is not a very, very easy place to play. So from bringing in good teams, that's what you want to do, non-conference, because these are some of the teams you're going to play in the SEC.
Nate Mason, he's averaging over 15 points, I think about almost 5 assists. What impresses you about his game?
It's composure. I think he takes care of the ball. He's a guy that can knock down, he can shoot the basketball, but he's got good composure. He's a senior. He's an all-conference player for him last year. So they've got, when you look at the players they have, you got possibly 3 first-team all-conference players. And maybe another one for 4th. So they've got some outstanding players, and we've got to make sure that we limit those guys and make them get to their bench. I think that's hopefully will be the thing that can become a strength for us is our bench.
Mike, when Larry Eustace was in here the other night, he thanked you for returning the game to their place next year and said that wasn't that often done with Power 5 teams. Is this part of the SEC effort to beef everybody's schedule up also, with scheduling?
No, and in fact, this game here was probably brought upon with football. I think we're playing in football, and I think they tacked on a home and home, with Colorado State.
Mike, you referenced Chad Morris. I was talking to somebody like Dave Van Horn and Chris Buckman, Lance Howard. They talked about how good, when football's good, it helps everybody. I know basketball, you guys generate a lot of revenue for all the sports, but football's the biggest revenue producer. And obviously, you take recruits to football games. You want a good atmosphere. You want a good team. How important is it to have a football coach in place and a guy that people seem to be excited about?
I just think when all your sports are doing well, it's a great atmosphere. It's a great experience for our fans. It's a great experience for our student athletes, and we know it's a great experience for the alums and people that come to watch the games. I just think it all goes hand in hand. And when you got a winning, exciting atmosphere, no matter what sport it is, I think and of course in football, obviously, they have big weekends, tailgating, all that stuff goes in. It makes it a lot more fun. Let me put it that way.
It sounds like he kind of wants to play football like you play basketball. Talked about getting in the left lane and putting the hammer down. Were you excited to hear that? Does it sound like he wants kind of a football version of what you guys are doing in terms of?
Yeah, it seems like you want to put the pedal to the metal. That's what it seemed like.
What impact has kind of your Little Rock recruiting crop been for you over the past few years? Guys like Darrell and Beard, what kind of impact has Little Rock had on your team over the past few years?
Well, it's with the emergence of I think many more players that can play up here. Those guys having to come in, making the commitment to come here and play and having successful careers. I think that's very, very important and it's vital. You want to put up fences around the state and get the best players that can play up here and excel up here to come here. And I think we've done that. When you look at what Bobby has done, even Moses was kind of like him. We kind of brought him on board, but he came in and had a tremendous career. Dusty left and came back, and in 2 years, this guy was a 1,000-point scorer. So now you got a guy like Beard and Trey, and you think about Kai. You think about the guys that have been through here, and they all come in and really have some tremendous success, especially on the floor, but off the floor as well. I think it's a big statement about, Razorback basketball in our program.
Dustin talked a lot about wanting to not fade away as much on his shot last year, and obviously he still does that sometimes, but he's going in more than it has. He's shot well the last couple games. How do you guys as a staff maybe balance wanting to tweak a guy's form and letting him stay comfortable?
Well, I think with Dustin, he's worked extremely hard in off season. I mean, to really get it where his shot is a habit forming, it's the correct form and things of that nature. A lot of times you revert back. Sometimes you still got some bad habits, and but I think he'll be a lot better. He's only played in 4 games, maybe 5 games, 4 games. 5 since he came back. So, but I think there's an improvement, and I think you'll see it throughout the year. But it's when what they've done through high school, and a lot of them for him. Let's say he played 2 years at Colorado before he came here. It's hard to change in midstream, but there's some, I think some little simple things, like I said, just balance. You got to be on balance when you shoot the basketball. I mean, what happens? You shoot and you miss. I mean, you're kicking your feet, you're off balance, you can't get it back. So.
Adrio played 8 minutes the other day. Obviously, you made the change in the starting lineup. Were the minutes the result of you wanting to get a look at like Orlando and Dustin, or was he not doing something to only play 8 minutes?
I was looking for guys that can go out and defend and play with energy, and that's the group that played. I thought the guys that went out there, they played with great energy, and there's competition going on for minutes. And so, and how do you get those minutes? In practice, and then there's got to be a carryover to the game. And so, but our mindset has got to be about defense, multiple efforts. Getting up and down the floor, sharing the basketball, playing the game the right way, being in attack mode, being physical. So it's December, and so now some guys can get it a lot quicker than other guys get it. I always say you can learn something in a day, you can learn an hour, you can learn a month, you can learn a year. The guys that pick it up the quickest are the guys that are going to be able to play and go out and excel.
It looked like he took a shot to the ribs. Was he okay?
Who's this? Adrio?
Adrio, yeah.
I'll see he did in that game, and that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't play as many, because he was out there playing, and I thought he asked to come out because he got hit in the stomach. But no one that came to me. Dave hadn't come to me and say anybody was hurting, so we'll see.
One more here.
Can you talk about the impact that Daniel's had, especially with Moses gone so far this season?
Daniel gives us a guy with size, someone we can throw the ball into. And if you notice in the last game, people were fronting him. We really utilized him pinning and getting the ball to him. And he's a quick jumper. He can shoot it. And we saw in that game, he shot it, he missed it, and when he got it, and put it back in. So what he does gives us guys size that can, at times, he's got to get better at this here, but protecting the rim. He rebounds above the rim. So you got to have a guy, he's an energy guy. I mean, for a big guy that can really run the floor. And hopefully as games continue to progress, we'll see that stand out even more so, a guy that can exchange ends from offense to defense and defense to offense, and get some of those dunks or get some of those stick backs, offensive rebounds where he puts it in. He's, no doubt about it, he's impacting our team.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.